Before Rome, before Alexandria, one city made the ancient world look small: Babylon. Its gates were covered in lions and dragons. Its temples rose above the crowded streets. Its markets drew merchants from across Mesopotamia. And behind its walls lived not only kings and priests, but bakers, scribes, laborers, soldiers, and children. This was Babylon, at its height not a ruin, not a legend, but a living city. The first thing a visitor would see was color: blue glazed brick rising from the dust. White inscriptions cut into the walls. Lions marching across the surface, one after another, as if the goddess herself were guarding the entrance. The Ishtar Gate was more than architecture. It was a message. Babylon was not asking to be admired. It was announcing its power.
Halt! State your business and declare your goods. Mark down 20 baskets of grain and 10 clay pots.
During the reign of Nebuchadnezzar II, the city was rebuilt on a scale designed to overwhelm the senses. For a visiting merchant, passing beneath these giant images proved one thing immediately: Babylon was the undisputed center of the world. Inside the walls, Babylon was already awake. Clay ovens filled the morning air with smoke. Donkeys pulled carts through narrow streets. Water carriers moved between homes. Somewhere nearby, a metalworker struck bronze against stone. Babylon did not run on monuments. It ran on systems. Grain arrived from farms outside the city. Officials measured it, recorded it, and distributed it. The city's most important technology was not the chariot or the sword. It was writing. A Babylonian scribe pressed a reed stylus into wet clay, creating wedge-shaped marks known as cuneiform. With those marks, the city recorded debts, marriages, land sales, taxes, omens, and prayers. A single tablet could preserve a private promise for thousands of years. At the center of the city stood the temple complex of Marduk, Babylon's patron god. Nearby rose Enki, the enormous stepped temple, often connected to later stories of the Tower of Babel. Its height is uncertain. Its impact was not. From the streets below, the ziggurat would have appeared to climb toward the heavens. Priests moved through its courtyards. Processions filled the roads. Music, incense, and banners turned religion into public spectacle. And above it all stood the king. Nebuchadnezzar did not simply govern Babylon. He rebuilt it as proof of his greatness. Every restored temple, every decorated gate, and every inscribed brick repeated the same idea: the king had brought order to the world.
This is Great Babylon.
But most people in Babylon did not live inside palaces. They lived closer to the ground. A family might share a small courtyard house built from mud brick. The rooms would be cool and dark against the heat. Meals were simple: bread, dates, onions, beans, fish from the river. Beer was common, safer to drink than untreated water, and consumed by workers as well as the wealthy. A child might learn a trade from parents. A young apprentice could spend years shaping bricks, weaving cloth, or copying signs onto clay. For women, life was shaped by family, property, work, and law. Some women owned land or ran businesses. Others lived under restrictions determined by their family and social position. Babylon was dazzling. It was also unequal. The same city that raised temples to ward, the sky depended on people whose names history rarely preserved. Babylon's power was built with knowledge. Babylonian scholars watched the sky from temple rooftops. They tracked the movement of the moon and planets. They recorded eclipses and searched for patterns in the heavens. Mathematics helped officials measure fields, calculate rations, and organize construction. Astronomy helped priests interpret the future. To modernize, these worlds may seem separate. Science, religion, government were connected in Babylon. The sky was a calendar. A calculation could become a prophecy. A clay tablet could outlast a dynasty. And the city kept writing. The longer Babylon lived in memory, the larger it became. Greek writers described its vast walls. Biblical traditions remembered its towers. Later generations imagined gardens rising above the city. Filled with trees and flowing water, the Hanging Gardens became one of the famous wonders of the ancient world. But there is a problem. No surviving Babylonian record clearly confirms that the gardens existed in Babylon. Some historians have suggested that the story may have been confused with another city. Babylon's greatest danger was not a monster at the gate, it was the changing balance of power. In 539 BCE, the Persian king Cyrus the Great conquered Babylon. The city did not vanish in a single night. Its temples, streets, and population continued to exist. But Babylon was no longer the unquestioned center of an empire. New rulers came, trade routes shifted, political power moved elsewhere. Slowly, the city's importance faded. The bricks remained, the inscriptions remained, the stories remained, but the voices that once filled the streets became harder to hear. Babylon did not disappear in one night. First, the empire changed. Then the roads changed. Then the city became a memory. But Babylon still speaks through its bricks, through the tablet recording an ordinary debt, through the name of a worker long forgotten, through the calculations of an astronomer watching the sky. The legends made Babylon famous. The people made it real. For a few centuries, this city stood at the center of power, trade, religion, and knowledge. And for a moment, if we look closely enough, we can see it again, not as a ruin, as a living city. If you want to experience more lost worlds as they may have looked and felt, subscribe to Pixelated Past. The past is not gone. It is waiting to be reconstructed.